I just want to say, Arguing Goldfish, real deal. These guys are great. These guys are fun.
Wow.
And I wasn't sure what I was getting into, but I'm glad I got into it.
Two best friends with the attention span of a goldfish. We'll literally talk about anything and everything, and at some point, we'll argue about it. It's time for the Arguing Goldfish Podcast.
Arguing Goldfish, Mark Viviano, Baltimore icon. Did a little research for you, and I just want to make sure that what I have, I wrote you a little bio.
You did?
It says here, Mark Viviano, Baltimore icon, with a 40-year career in broadcasting. 22 years here at WJZ. You grew up in St. Louis,
True.
where you received a degree in broadcast journalism from the University of Missouri School of Journalism.
All correct. Confirmed.
Wikipedia was on point there.
Oh, it's probably AI. Either way.
Here in Baltimore, you received a recipient of the Old Hilltop Award of Excellence in Thoroughbred Racing Coverage.
That's true.
You share that award with Jim McKay, Red Smith, and Howard Cosell. Husband to wife Megan, father of two boys. You're a runner. You carried the Olympic torch through Baltimore on its way to Atlanta.
1996. In pouring rain that day.
You retired in 2024. Active parishioner in the St. John
The Evangelist.
Catholic Church. You focus your time on serving your family, God, and the community.
All good. All good. You're spot on, my friend.
Thank you.
You have good sources.
Well, it's important because the story of Mark Viviano, because we're so Baltimore focused.
Love it.
History of Baltimore, the food of Baltimore, and the people of Baltimore. And then what better person to talk to with someone who had such a great career in Baltimore.
There are a lot of good people to talk to, and I'm honored that you would even consider me among them.
Absolutely. Can you walk me through while you're working for WJZ, because you were you were a broadcast journalist. Mm-hmm. How did you venture from broadcast journalism to sports-specific journalism?
Well, I got into wanting to be a broadcaster through sports. I grew up in St. Louis, and my true hook and love was listening to Cardinal baseball games on the radio. And Jack Buck was the voice of the Cardinals, and I just saw magic in his description of baseball games. And one of 5 kids and my 2 brothers, and we're a very sports-centric family, and I just loved it. My mother wanted me to be a dentist. Yeah, and I wanted to be the center fielder for the Cardinals or play in the NBA. I soon found that neither was likely, but in choosing a profession, it was like, well, I really like sportscasting. I'm listening to the radio, I'm watching TV, and those guys get paid for that, so it's a real job. And so when I decided to go to the University of Missouri, they have a great journalism program, and they have a university-owned NBC affiliate television station that you work at and get on-air experience. But your work has to be news. I had to be a news reporter. So I'm covering like murder trials and, all sorts of controversial political stuff and whatnot. But they said on the weekends, we'll let the students do the sports and the news anchoring, but you gotta do an audition and all that. And I did an audition and they liked it, so I did that. So when I graduated, I sent out, I think, 12 to 20 news reels and 4 or 5 sports reels. And I got a sports job, and that was my goal. And then my first job was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I tell young people, just get in somewhere, and then you can move up or around however you want to do it. And that's how I got into it.
With broadcast journalism, and was it I'm trying to figure out the correct way to say it, because do you miss being that type of journalist, like where you could go on the street and do like what they called like the beat back in the day, where you would follow a story other than sports, like I don't know, like an earthquake. Or
Right.
Do you look back and go, I would have done it better. I would have done it differently this way. Are you allowed to say that?
No. Oh, can you say that? Of course. I think we're all critics of what we see. I mean, it's very subjective. I mean, you know, we like to think of news, even in sports coverage, as one size fits all, just the facts. But the fact is, everybody brings their point of view into what they think is the best way to present. Like, there could be a car accident out there.
Sure.
You could have 5 reporters file 5 different stories about, you know, with different angles to it. And that's, none of them are wrong per se. And it's up to the viewer to find who has the most, you know, the best presentation of the facts that make it most clear presentation of what happened, you know. So I say I worked in the toy department in sports. Like, when it came to any of the crime, politics, you know, fires and earthquakes and all that, God bless them. I didn't want to do that. In fact, my wife, who actually met, she was an executive producer. She couldn't do it anymore because of the, you know, stories about a child found dead or, you know, it just got to her. She just didn't like it. I didn't have to deal with it, and I'm glad I didn't. So I'm glad I got into the toy department early on and stayed in there. But I respect those who have to cover. You know, think about that. I always thought about it when I would see like Mike Helgren, great reporter at Channel 13. He'd have to go knock on the door of a home where somebody lost somebody to murder or whatever. It's like I couldn't do it.
Yeah. You had talked earlier about your transition to Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically, when you come out of college, what was your aspirations first? Like when you said, okay, I have this degree now.
Yeah.
The doors are open wide for me.
Yeah.
Where did you want to go as a 22-year-old?
22-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I'd have gone anywhere.
Okay.
Among those I recall specifically, I applied for a job in Harlingen, Texas, Eau Claire, Wisconsin, Macon, Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. These are sports jobs I applied for that I didn't get, that I was heartbroken with every rejection letter that I got back from having sent them my demo tape, and they didn't want me. I'm like, oh, man, I saved those as like... And then Cedar Rapids, Iowa was the one that hired me. I'd have gone anywhere. It didn't matter to me. I just wanted to get in. And none of those jobs paid very much, and it didn't matter. They're all beginning level positions, and it was almost, I look at it like this. It was like college again. It was like continuation of college, but with a stipend. You got paid a little bit. Sure. Not much. In fact, I went hungry in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. True story. I've shared it publicly. The TV station was doing a food drive around Christmas time where they collected food and they piled it up on the set to give to those in need in eastern Iowa. I went to work one day with no money in my bank account, no food in my refrigerator. I go to the station after the 10 o'clock news. I waited till everybody left, and I took a box of Pop-Tarts, took it home, and that was my meal for the day. So I wasn't living high on the hog. I certainly wasn't living hey, sportscaster, a great life. No, I was kind of dumb. I was young. I mismanaged some money. But it reminded me right then, and I said that day that I ate those Pop-Tarts at that little kitchen table at that small apartment that I had in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I told God, I will help feed people for the rest of my life. There should not be hungry people. I knew what it felt like. It was wrong. It was stupid. And there are people in difficult situations that it's a big part of my mission now is to help feed other people. So that's a side story of my track that eventually got a lot better, but I'd never forget that.
You go from college, you get your first job, you're okay with it, you're happy with the whole situation. Mm-hmm. You get to CNN. Mm-hmm. Is CNN considered the creme de la creme for you? Or is that like, I have met the pinnacle?
Well,
because this is going to lead me into my next question, which is, where is it on the broadcasting totem pole? What is the top? What is it where you go, hey, this is exactly Is it having your own show? So I'll let you go into it. And before you answer real quick, is this thing on? You see this thing talking? You see the thing? Okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. ESPN would have been. There was a time I aspired that I would get to ESPN.
Sure.
Because when you think about what ESPN certainly was, and isn't to the degree that it was in the 90s, I would say, it was huge. So to
hold on one second.
I can see his mic.
But you can't see mine, right?
No.
I thought so. This whole thing's been off the whole time.
Oh, that's it, really?
Yeah. Test. You can see the lid, right?
Yeah, it's moving.
Okay.
it could be picking up.
Now
Yeah.
it's picking up you now.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no. So working at CNN I worked with great people. I think I mentioned before, Tom Rinaldi, Tom Verducci, Stephen A. Smith, John Wertheim. These were some top-notch guys. They're really good. And I didn't believe that I was good enough to be working there, but sometimes you find that if you're among talented people, you get better.
Sure.
You have to. And so for me, yeah, I actually wish that I could have stayed there forever because I loved the work and I loved the support and the resources they had. But then the corporate world was such that AOL buys Time Warner and they say that they're bean counters.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys aren't making money, get out of here. So yeah, that was great. That was great work. I'll just say that. Yeah.
When you're at a level like a CNN, it kind of, I kind of in my brain want to know what it's like to work in a giant machine like that versus a local town such as Baltimore. So the movie Anchorman kind of made like this
That's good.
joke about everything. But was there a bullpen where you guys would get together and like how? So what was
Yes.
your day like when you started at CNN? So what time does your day start? What do you do? And then how do you leave? Like,
Well, I worked an evening shift, which meant that you get there around 2:30 in the afternoon, and there were meetings with all the producers, editors, about the shows we'd be putting together for that night. And then once you get into the night, that's when if it's baseball season, every baseball game is being recorded, logged, and you get your assignments as to which ones you're going to write, and the editors will send you the highlights with bullet points, information, and then you would write your scripts to that stuff. I love that process. I love writing. I love putting together packages of information to make it's ABC, accurate, brief, and clear. Just boom, 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 and some flair to it. If some guys are more prone to the flair, I'm all nuts and bolts.
Sure.
That's my preference.
you leave the machine for whatever reason,
They shut it down.
and you come to Baltimore.
Yeah.
When you walk through the doors of a WJZ, do they treat you differently because you were a name, like you were more of a nation brand or a national brand versus a local brand?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it's just do the work. I mean, and nor did I think I was anything special because I worked at a place that went out of business. I mean,
Sure.
it's like, it's humbling, but it's okay. Thank you for this opportunity.
Sure.
And I had worked in Baltimore before. Coming back was a true blessing.
Okay.
Like, I loved it here.
Okay.
And when I did the last show at CNN, I had a job offer in Pittsburgh and a possible offer in Seattle. But when Baltimore called, that was like,
Literally.
yes, that was a real absolute. So WJZ was great, and that changed everything for me. Just in terms of picking me back up after what was a setback. You lose, they shut down a network, and it's like, what's going to happen? That happened. It was a blessing.
When you get to, now, mind you, I don't know anything about the news. Mm-hmm. You started in an era where there was no such thing as 24-hour news cycles, right? It was just at the beginnings of it. There was
beginnings. Cable news, 1980, 70, CNN. ESPN started in 79,
Sure.
CNN 1980, and that it grew from there.
Right. But then you could tell that it was different because now they got this, like they're drawing out a story because they got to fill 24 hours a day now.
Yeah.
And the war really helped them. But so do you, as a personality, if that's a word I can use, are you, because you're on the news, you're on TV, do you have an agent or do you do your own negotiating?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, different times it's beneficial to have someone who represents you in contract negotiations. Sure. And I did, but once I got the job at CNN with an agent. I got the job back at WJZ with an agent. After my first contract ran out, the agent was like, "You don't need me anymore to negotiate this," and that was the case. So I was able to kind of do my own from there with the help of a lawyer who could just kind of
dots the I's,
yeah, exactly.
Now, other than money during a negotiation, as a sports or as a broadcaster, what else is involved in your contract when you want to go to Baltimore, or what checklists do you need to check off so that you get what you want, other than money?
Other than terms and length.
How long is your contract for?
My first one was 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And subsequent to that were 2 and 3 year contracts.
Oh.
2 and 3, I think, is pretty much industry standard.
Okay.
So yeah, really, that's it.
Okay.
And the way that the broadcast contracts are written, I had certain guarantees to an extent, as much as they could be. But for the most part, they're going to get rid of you if they want to get rid of you.
Sure.
The big thing is the non-compete. That is, if once your contract runs out or if you're let go. If you're let go, you have leeway to, I could go across the street and work for another guy. If your contract runs out and they don't renew it, you are still beholden to a non-compete for 6 months to a year, depending on what it is. But that, a lot of agents will fight that because it's like restriction of employment at that point. And it's been fought for. I think they've won, and I don't know how much that is still a part of standard contracts anymore. I don't know.
3 years. It's interesting that you actually have an agent. I thought that was when I heard that we were going to talk to you. That was like one of the first things I was like, "Wow, are you like in SAG or something like that?" Because
yeah, you do. We are in SAG-AFTRA. I was. I'm no longer. Yeah, that's part of it.
Wow.
Because it's a union shop now. For instance, in Baltimore, Channel 45 is not a union shop, so you don't have to be a member of SAG-AFTRA. WJZ, WBAL, WMAR, I think WMAR is. So yeah, you do. Mm-hmm.
So you also did radio.
Yeah.
Was this concurrent with a TV contract?
No, it was separate.
So two separate animals.
Two separate animals. There was an agreement because it was CBS Radio and CBS television, but they were separate deals.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that was a separate situation altogether. And I was kind of a workaholic, but I enjoyed it. I had the radio job is full-time. Sure. The TV job was full-time. Right. And I would take vacation from both to fill in as the sideline pregame reporter for the Orioles games. When Amber Theo Harris used to do it, she would take time off and I would fill in and go on road trips with the Orioles and do that stuff. But I loved it. Sure. I was a single guy, just doing what I loved.
Good-looking guy.
I'm not buying that. But, it's funny. After I lost the job at CNN, because CNN folded up its sports network, then I come back to Baltimore, and I'm like a man who had his food taken away from him. It's like, I want all of it. Sure. I want to work in radio. I want to work in TV. I want to cover Oriole games for the network. So I overdid it. I just did, but I loved it.
Is it fair to say that the TV contract is more lucrative than a radio contract?
Yes, it is. That's fair.
Are you able to, how else can you subsidize your income while you're under contract? Can you can you be a sponsored individual for a company? Or
I had leeway. First of all, television had to approve that I did radio. They can, technically, their contract, you mentioned contracts, they own your image and likeness.
Oh, yes.
So for me to get the radio position, they had to allow for that.
Wow.
They didn't have to allow it, but they did allow for it. Once working under that contract, there were situations where there were sponsors. I would live voice ads for
Whatever.
Toyota, whomever.
Right.
And yes, there are monetary avenues opened up through doing that as well. Additional, yeah.
Okay, so what were your responsibilities from WJZ? Because you got a position. You weren't just a broadcaster. You were
Correct. Sports director.
Sports director. What does a sports director do?
You're in charge of all content, planning, preparation of, and at WJZ in particular, Mike Pupo has been there for going on 40 years. He is the guy behind the scenes. He is a machine. I could not have done what I did for the 22 years that I was there, and he worked for John Buren prior to my being there. Mike he's the bedrock of that sports department. I was sort of the front-facing, voice and face, whatever. And we worked in concert, and great guy to work for, great fulfilling work that we did, especially at football season when, remember, as a CBS affiliate, we've got pretty much the brunt of the Ravens games. We started this programming of pre-game shows every Sunday, post-game shows. We traveled, we would do home games live from the stadium. Massive amount of work, but good, fulfilling, important work that was really well received by the public. So as sports director, you just got to be all in. And that means football season, you're working 6 days a week. And you can't complain about that because that's the job. And I've encountered different people who have said, like, I'm not doing that. That's sick. It's like, then don't do that job.
Yeah.
That's just what it requires.
No, I understand.
And because it's sports, and because I have a passion for it, and I understand, if I want to keep doing this, that's what I got to do.
Did you enjoy being on TV? Is it just a regular job after a while? You just sit there, like, for us, just to turn that camera on, I still get goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like, what are we going to do today?
There's an adrenaline to it still. And I would say, just like as you hear different athletes say, if you don't get a little bit edgy or nervous about having to perform, then probably it's time that it's not important to you anymore. So I always had that feeling, especially when it came to live events.
Okay.
Live events are just sort of, your blood pumps faster, your heart beats, faster, and it's happening now. It's like the game just ended. It's me and Kadri Ismail talking about this play, that play, this interview, this reaction to what we saw, and it's boom, it's happening, and you're just on your feet thinking. At the moment, I love that. That's good stuff. So yeah, that's still a part of it. I think the nightly, doing the 5, 6, and 11 o'clock sports, if you're out at the ballpark and it's live, I always like that because that's a different energy to it versus being on set, which is most of the time, but it's still, I always thought of it like this. I always remember the story about Joe DiMaggio. He was asked one time about the effort that Joe DiMaggio was smooth, always gave it. He goes, because, and I always remember this, Joe DiMaggio said, and I didn't hear him say this, it was a story that was relayed over the years, that there's a kid who's sitting in the stands who's watching a baseball game for the first time, and he's going to see me, and I want him to know that's how I play.
Okay.
And I always thought every time I was privileged, and I really looked at it as a privilege, to go out and do the news, sit on set. There's somebody watching for the first time, and maybe the last time, but I know I owe them the best I have. And I never wanted to make it look. I never wanted to mail it in. I cared. It's my name. It's my face. It's like if you don't give it all, and they can tell, that's on you, dude. So never would I want that to be the case.
If you're allowed to answer this question, and if you can't, I completely understand. At any time where after a game, great game, everyone won, everyone's super happy. 2 parts. One, did you get any type of ring for any championship?
Never.
No. Okay. No. And second, were you allowed to party? I'm using that's a term. It's a loose term with the players afterwards. Like, oh, we're all going to meet at Alexander's Tavern tonight. Were you allowed to do that?
No. I mean, no. I was never in a. Those guys run in their own circles.
Okay.
They really do. And I was never. I always believed that, although I had friendships with certain players, coaches, it was never, to me, a social. It shouldn't be. In my opinion, it just shouldn't be. That would not be a safe. That would not be appropriate for me and how I see the job.
Understood.
I did shows with.
So you made sure there was a line.
Yeah.
I'm Mark Viviano, sports guy, or news announcer. Let's leave it there.
Yeah, just leave it there.
Can I follow up to that? Have you ever been in the clubhouse after like a series win, like playoffs?
Yeah.
You know how they party in the
Oh, yeah.
clubhouse and all that? Have you ever been inside of there when that's happened?
Oh yeah.
How magical is that to just watch them be
Again,
genuine people?
I would say this. You know, I'll take it to New Orleans 2013 Super Bowl championship, and being on the field with the confetti coming down and talking to the players and just seeing the pure joy that it was for them. And Art Jones, who passed away this year, Art Jones, who was a guy that I would always see in the locker room in Owings Mills, and he always had something. He was always available, and we had what I would call a good working relationship. And Art saw me and ran over and hugged me and kissed me on my forehead, and it was like, that was just genuine, you know. It was just like, and I was like, dude, you did it, you know, congratulations. But to your point about celebrating with them, I cover the team. I don't play for the team. But in
a sense, you are.
In a sense, but you know what? One way I drew a line, too, is you never saw me wear purple on Purple Fridays.
Okay.
It's not my job. Then people would complain, dude, you're in Baltimore. You're a sports guy. You should be wearing purple. I said, no. Are you a fan? Yes. That's your job.
Yeah.
Good. Enjoy that. I'm gonna be somebody who is just going to deliver you the information without cheering. You don't need me cheering for them. I'm just going to give you my best coverage of them. But no, to your point about the guys in the locker room spraying the beer and champagne, of course. I'll say this. People say, do you root for the Ravens? Do you root for the Orioles? No. One, you root for them because you're fans. That's good. You do that. I cover them. But I like that they do well. Why? Because I see the work they put in. I know them. And I know that when they do well, you're all in a good mood and the economy's better and people are in better spirits. I'm cool with that. I love to see that. But I root for good stories. I love to find how things happen, why things happen, reaction to why they happen or how they happen. That to me is more important than the wins and losses. But I get it. It's a results business to the fans, and I appreciate the passion that the fans put into it. I've got to separate myself from that emotion. I just do, and I'm comfortable with that. And I think I found in the long run, people respected my point of view because I made it clear. I'm not a rooter. I'm a reporter, and that's just it. And I am not making opinions about anybody who does root openly, who is a reporter. That's fine. We all find our way, right? And that's just how I did it.
I want to really change gears here because we know you as Mark Viviano, the sports guy, and I hope you're okay with that. Because I don't want to make it sound like I'm just going, oh, that's just Mark. Like,
no, that's fine.
But you said something, you're quoted as saying something that when I was doing this research, it was in the middle of the night, I was reading something, and sometimes some things just hit you differently.
Okay.
Okay, so make sure I had this.
What did you unearth?
You can talk about your job, you can talk about your responsibilities, possessions, and friends, but without God as the center, what meaning does any of it really have? Mm-hmm. Okay? So that was very meaningful for having literally nothing to do with this. So, but it was and then you say that's my outlook on life. So where was your shift, if there was one, that took you towards this path towards God?
I've always had faith in my life. I was my parents raised us in the Catholic Church. It was important. It's always been important, but in my development as a human being, I had times where I was in more than not. That's part of the life journey of you understanding why you're here. Meaning and purpose of life. And we tend to, especially when we're younger, we get engaged in accumulating possessions. We become proud. We are preoccupied, and we start to put some of the significance of meaning and purpose aside. That's common for most of us. As you mature, as you get to, maybe it's getting to a certain age, and thank God I'm still alive, because you could die in that state, right? You could die not knowing why you're even alive. With time, with experience, having children, it just changes everything for me. And really, ultimately, we're guaranteed one thing as we sit here right now. We're going to die.
Absolutely.
That's a guarantee. What happens when you die?
Right.
Many of us don't even want to think about it. Don't want to ponder the what's next. But know deep down, it's still the most important question that we face. Then what?
I feel that this comment, again, it really took me for a little while. I remember sitting in just my house alone, no TV, just rethinking that statement, and I really thought that was interesting. And then I read something next, and I feel like your path, it really doesn't matter all the fame, the money, whatever else was going on, because your decision to retire was based on you missing one of your son's baseball games.
Yep.
And you said right then and there, no, this is more important to me than anything that you can put in front of me, and I'm going to spend that time doing that. And I just found that to be, didn't make me cry, but it made me sit there and go, wow, like I feel like I started late in life, and I'm doing everything I can to catch up. Mm-hmm. And I saw that you married a little bit older, had kids a little bit older, and I was like, wow, that's, what's really good about that is you get to experience the joys of that. Every day your child is a day older that you'll never get back.
That's right.
So you want to be there for everything. And I was like, wow, I really respect that as a whole. Like you really do have God at the top. And then it was really God, family, and then maybe career.
That's correct. But it took a while for me to get in the proper order.
Oh, I understand.
And there were times where I wasn't in the right order.
Sure. As we all.
And listen, I'm no better or different than anybody else, and all that I hope that in this time, whatever time I have left, as a father, as a husband, as a community servant, is that I can share whatever inspiration, whatever encouragement, whatever example, because that's what I think. That's where I am. Sure. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Understood.
But
the way you put that, the way those sentences put together, really. When I started reading more into how things were going, I was like, wow, this is actually a true. You're not just faking it. You're not just saying it just to say it. That's your life. You live that path, and I thought that was really amazing.
Well, thank you for noticing, but more importantly, it's funny. Just this week, I met the Little Sisters of the Poor in Catonsville.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Like, the dedication, they've given their entire life to helping those who have nothing.
Absolutely.
And they have very little to nothing other than what they're able to ask for, beg for, and acquire to give to other people. Sure. I was just at Helping Up Mission earlier today, and I met a man named Luis, who we bring lunches to the Helping Up Mission that they distribute to the overnight homeless and within the city on their mission there. Luis said 3 years ago, I came in here, I had nothing and I was hungry, and I saw that they had sandwiches, and I was afraid to ask for one. Somebody gave me one, and written on there was, God is with you, because we decorate the bags. We want there to be a message, and we never know who gets them. And Luis said, I got that. Thank you. 3 years ago. He now works in the kitchen.
Awesome.
He works in the kitchen, and he said, I wanted to see somebody who brought these, because I never knew who it was. And I've shared that with everybody who makes these lunches and writes those messages. It matters. every bit of this matters, and you can change a life with the smallest thing.
Now, you had mentioned earlier that when it was brought up about religion, you said, I'm allowed to talk about it now. Were you ever muzzled by the court?
Never muzzled. No. I understood the expectations and the limitations of being in a position of working for corporate media.
Okay.
It's an understanding. Sure. It just is. I was never muzzled.
Okay.
I was never told you can't say this. I knew the parameters. I knew the rules. I lived by the rules. And when I'm working for Paramount CBS, I can't end every sportscast with May the light of Jesus be with you. I can't.
Sure,
and as much as that's in my heart, and the only thing I ever thought was, just speak and act in a manner that is befitting one with whom Jesus is most important in your life. You don't have to say it, just be that light.
Did you ever have a Carol Burnett thing where you did something only that your wife would know?
That's funny.
One of your friends would know?
No, I never did. I never did, but it was funny that in the time that I was still working and my children would see me on TV, when my wife would tell me the reaction sometimes, and that was cute. That was neat.
I need to zigzag real quick because I don't want to hold you up too much, but what's it like to be a local celebrity? Because there's a positive and a negative. One, everyone knows you, right? They see your face, they go, oh, they make Mark Viviano, right? And they, of course, probably want a picture or some sort of autograph. But then you can't get into a bar fight.
Oh, no.
You can't cut someone off and have a moment of just being a man.
I never would.
But
it's not my nature.
Sure. But
here's how I looked at it. To be honest with you, it's a great way to meet people.
Understood.
Believe it or not, I am not a naturally outgoing person.
Okay.
I generally keep to myself. I'm generally quiet. But the job and what you just described as people know who you are allowed me to meet more people than I ever would have met. And what I really enjoyed about meeting people while still on the air, and even now, is that you may have a perception or a thought of who I might be from what you saw.
Sure.
And now I have a chance to tell you who I really am.
Right.
And share. And it's so funny because I'll ask everybody who meets me, they'll go, oh, I just wanted to shake your hand. I'll say, what's your name? And how many times they go, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I say, yes, it does. You have a name, dude. It matters.
You that one day, he knew you immediately. And I went, oh, I was embarrassed to just acknowledge your presence. I didn't want to cross that line of celebrity versus neon, right? But I want to touch on another quote that you said, and this one was interesting. You said that you interviewed someone that actually impacted your life by the name of Joe
Abbas. Joe Abbas, yeah.
Okay. So Joe Abbas, he inspired you to run?
Yes.
So what about Joe that made him so inspirational to you in your life, and then equate him to changing the trajectory of your life?
Yeah, Joe was a guy in Dayton, Ohio. I interviewed Joe in the lead up to a race in Dayton. He was preparing for his 75th marathon. He was 75 years old. He had fought in World War II. This is back, I interviewed Joe in 1990, I think it was. He had fought in World War II. Little man who, while overseas, gripped with fear that he would die in the war, would run around the army base at night and used to pray that if I get home, God, I will glorify you by running. And when he got back to the United States, he just started running marathons.
Okay. Now, you now run.
I
did.
Okay. And it was Joe. So after I interviewed Joe, I got into the news truck with the videographer I was with. I said, I'm not waiting till I'm 75. I'm going to run a marathon. I told my buddy, Jim, the photographer, it's going to happen. I ended up running 35 marathons, and it became very much a part of my life. And I found great joy in running. And
do you get the runner's high?
I did. Yeah. And now I'm more of a jogger walker now. All that I poured into that endeavor of distance running was to fill a certain void in my life that has been filled by being a husband,
sure,
being a father. I don't need it anymore.
Right.
I like to exercise. I like to stay in shape, but I don't need the extreme versions of it anymore. But I did then, and I filled that cup for sure.
2 parts. Did you run in the current marathon that just happened?
I did not run in this year's. No, no.
And was there a bucket list checkpoint where you said, I want to run X or blank marathon in such a city or such a country?
Yeah.
Is there some place that you wanted to go?
There was I aspired to run in all 50 states.
Okay.
I made it to 32, and I'm good.
Which was the toughest? And if I can guess, I would say somewhere out west where it was extremely hot. Probably flat as can be.
Actually, one of the toughest was Denver.
Oh, interesting. Oh, the elevation.
And the elevation, and making it worse was, this was 1996, the Ravens' first season. I flew to Denver to cover the game. Did not sleep 1 second. Woke up that Sunday morning, ran the Denver Marathon, got back to the hotel, showered, and went and covered the game.
It's hilarious.
Oh, I was young.
Sure.
Young and dumb.
Absolutely.
It just dumb stuff. You did a lot of dumb stuff. That was dumb. I would never recommend anybody ever doing that. West Virginia was very hilly. That was hard.
How are the knees?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Thank God.
Okay.
But I know if I were to continue, my hips would be shot.
Absolutely.
My knees would be. I just don't need it anymore.
Are you brand oriented when it comes to shoes? The reason I'm asking, I ran the Indianapolis 10 miler.
Nice.
It's the furthest I've ever ran. I wanted to run the marathon this year. All the people that said they were going to help me just didn't happen. I tried, and I know I need help. So, but when it comes to the footwear, were you brand specific?
Yeah, I was at different times, and they would switch because these shoemakers, you may have noticed, you can find the perfect shoe, and they will change it.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I ended up doing is I would buy 4 pair of the one because I know you're going to discontinue it because you're going to make it a different color and a different form that I don't like. So, yeah, I switched here and there from Asics to Mizuno's to you name it. Whatever I could find that works best.
I know we're running short on time, so I'm just going to ask a couple Baltimore-specific questions.
Sure.
Maybe a little bit of a game, see if you can...
Yeah.
Can you tell me, were you a fan of the steroid era in baseball? I'll tell you why I'm asking. It seems to be the most popular portion of baseball history. We were hitting dingers all day long.
Oh, yeah.
The stadium was packed no matter where you went.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Who doesn't, right? I mean,
Right.
So that was a fascinating time in baseball. What did you like it?
I was a reporter.
Right.
I was a reporter during that time, and I'll never forget this. Mark McGwire and the Cardinals came to RFK Stadium to play the Expos in an exhibition game prior to the Expos moving to D.C. Mark McGwire hit a ball that hit the top rim of RFK Stadium. I was sitting there watching that going, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Sure.
And to now know how tainted it all was is I don't feel good about that.
Okay.
I don't feel, and I will say this, and I was just telling somebody recently, Barry Bonds' season in which he hit 73 home runs, juiced or not, the dude hit a home run every 8 times he swung a bat because they didn't throw strikes to him.
Sure.
So he still had to do that.
Absolutely.
It was remarkable, but still, there's a stain on it that kind of makes me go, dude, really? Yeah. You would have been just fine.
Sure.
Rafael Palmeiro, you would have been just fine. Why'd you do that? But hubris, the greed, whatever it is, everybody's doing it.
Sure.
I'm not a fan of that. Because I was a reporter, I'm more like ashamed that I didn't know more, to be honest with you.
So a follow-up question. Do they belong in the Hall of Fame at all? And I think that's $1 million question that nobody...
It is. And and this is not meant to be a cop-out. I'm not a big fan of Halls of Fame.
Oh.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. And I don't believe that the media should be involved in it.
Okay. Because Baseball Writers of America can...
Yeah. It's like, who are we? We didn't play. Who made us God?
Okay.
Like, what are we voting for? These guys played a game, and we're up in the press box watching. We're going to tell you who was the greatest of all time. Yeah. It's like, I don't like it.
Sure.
I get it.
Right.
And I'm not disparaging anybody who does vote or who does think it's important. I don't like it. I'll just say that. So I don't put a lot of time into your question. Is my point.
Because back to you don't like reporters. There's 2 Cleveland reporters who are keeping Vidal from all his contributions being included.
Yeah, that's another aspect of it that it's like, really? Is this what we're doing?
So, do you consider NASCAR a sport?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I mean,
Bowling a sport or a hobby?
that's a sport.
Okay.
We got a Hall of Famer here in town, right?
We do, actually.
Yeah.
Should Maryland State sport be changed to lacrosse from jousting?
Jousting is so unique that it's kind of a cool thing to hang on to. If you're into tradition and history.
Sure.
I got a 7-year-old son who thinks jousting is the coolest thing in the world because he went to medieval times.
Oh, of course, yeah. Do you know what Maryland's official state exercise is?
There is a state exercise.
There is?
Dude.
It was declared in 2008. Walking.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I walk. God bless most of us with 2 healthy legs. Yeah.
When we talk about sports, it seems like we only talk about the top 3: baseball, football, and
Basketball.
right. Is there any sport that you wished you could have covered? Because now with the advent of the internet and all the social media, we're seeing sports from all over the world.
Yeah, sure.
I'm having a lot of fun watching this European baseball where it's almost backwards. I don't know if you've seen this.
No.
They run to the third base.
What?
And then they run from third all the way to first to second. There's no boundary. So if the ball gets hit in the river, they got to go get it in the river.
How did I
Or
miss
cricket,
this?
or-
I'm not.
Are you still a fan of horse racing? Like,
You can partially.
Okay.
Nothing jumps out, but I will say when I was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City one year hosted the World Tug of War Championship.
oh, absolutely.
Get this. Not only did I cover it, and Scotland won, by the way.
Of course.
Scotland won, and this was in 1987. My report aired on ESPN.
No way.
ESPN was so nascent at the time.
Sure.
They would take in reports from anywhere about anything.
fill the
Remember, they were airing Australian rules football.
Oh, wow.
Like, they would show an Australian rules football game during the day. So I would send them reports of random things, and I kept the pace up. Like, they would send me $50,
Okay.
and they would air my World Tug of War Championship.
Okay. So there was a competition.
This was back in the early 80s.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, and that $50 was big time for the guy that went hungry in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The Ocho. Kickball, you name it.
Wiffle ball was on there.
Wiffle ball.
You've been in Maryland, Baltimore specifically, for how many years?
31 years, but there was that period of time where I was in Atlanta.
Okay.
But I still had ties here. I always came back. It's almost like I never left. Yeah.
Pizza John's versus Squires.
Have not had Squires. I've had Pizza John's.
And it.
I'm sorry. I'm not a carb guy anymore.
Okay, all right.
I should go, right? Is that what you're
should.
saying?
I'm just
Are they a
saying.
sponsor? I'm sorry.
No. It's just,
Well, they should be.
there's a major,
Squires, we need
major
it.
debate.
Okay.
One versus the other, and specifically those 2 pizzas. And I just figured.
And what's yours? Give me a ref.
I'm a Squires fan.
Okay.
But only because, again, Ed is completely different.
Okay.
And there's a definite line. Just like my next question: Old Bay versus Jo.
Just hold on, I got put my finger on the power
Don't
button.
touch it.
No. Well, here's first of all, I'm from Missouri.
Understood.
First and foremost, I've been here for a long time. My wife grew up on the water.
Understood.
My wife has taught me how to crab. I catch crabs. We do the whole thing. She goes with the Jo spice,
Wow. Okay.
and she's local.
And actually, that's a big Annapolis thing too. J.O. Spice.
Sure. When you talk sports with your family, let's say Thanksgiving, you guys does it get heated? Do you get so passionate about talking about sports that it gets heated?
No.
No?
I think because I'm pretty dispassionate about most things. Like, I'm analytical and fact-based. I can't remember the last time I got really twisted up about a sports conversation. I'll get more passionate about other things, more important things, I guess I would say. Yeah.
Since we're coming close to the end, any career advice that you would want to give to a younger person who says, this is the career path that I want to go to? Anything that you would say, this is what I should have done, or make sure you do this when you get this?
Volunteer for anything and everything. Be prepared to do work without getting paid, so that you can build a resume of experience that will prepare you for the opportunity to get the job that you want to get.
Sure.
And I did a lot of that. And just always say yes if somebody says, can you do this? Just say yes.
And I think that falls in line with us because we started as volunteer firefighters.
Yeah.
It's only recently in our later on in our career that we got paid for doing what we were doing.
Thank you for your service. That's real work, guys. It really is.
My last question, and then we'll let you go. If you had the opportunity to interview anyone, alive or dead,
Yeah.
sports, news, anything along the, just when it comes to broadcasting, who would that be for you?
Well, it's Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ would be...
What's the one question you would ask? If you only get one.
Whew. Wow.
I'll ask you mine. I'll tell you mine.
What?
I would like to know why. That's just in general term. I'd like to know why. Why are we here?
Yeah.
Why did this path lead to destruction? Did I miss out on forks in the road that I'm not aware of?
You just asked 3 questions.
Oh yeah,
They're good ones.
Yeah.
They're all good.
But I think
When you said one, so
No,
I think why is a great
yeah,
question.
I think as being not a very religious person, but to look the Creator in the eye and say why.
Why? Awesome question. I'll borrow it.
You're what?
I'll borrow your question. The question is why. It's a great question.
And for you, you get to stand face to face.
I just said I'm borrowing your
that's what you're
question. I think that's as good as any that I could think of.
Well, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of the day to meet with us. 2 just local hillbillies from
No, it's
Baltimore. that
great.
just
I love it.
Grew up.
This is
watching-
grassroots stuff. This is very Baltimore, and I love this city.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's. I was walking around Fells Point today on my way over here. I lived in Canton. I lived in Fed Hill. I love it. I love it this time of year, especially.
Absolutely,
And just taking it all in, and it's been my honor to be with you guys.
Well, if the honor's here, my argument I've out loud said multiple times, because we do argue, is that Baltimore is the most important city in the entire making of the country. And more firsts happen here in this specific city than anywhere else in the world. So I think that's why this city is amazing.
Important in my life, I'll tell you
I
that.
want to thank you for being a part of my life. Meeting you was absolutely an honor. I see that you're the real person. It's not just a show. And I just want to thank you. And like and follow, subscribe, everything Arguing Goldfish. Ed's behind the camera. It's Justin. And the one and only, the Baltimore icon himself, Mark Viviano. Anything that you want to talk about? Anything you want to post?
I just want to say, Arguing Goldfish, real deal. These guys are great. These guys are fun.
Wow.
And I wasn't sure what I was getting into, but I'm glad I got into it.
Well, we really appreciate this, and we would love to do this some other time.
Sure.
And if there's anything that you want to talk about, the floor is yours for as long as you want it.
Helping Up Mission here in Baltimore. On Tuesdays, we collect lunches at St. Casimir Church from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Bagged lunch, put in a bologna sandwich, a bag of chips, and something sweet. We'll get it to those who need it.
Now, is there a website we can follow for that, or
There's
is
not
how
a
do we get
website.
in touch with that?
Uh,
How would I find that? Do I Google it? I mean, that's seriously.
you won't find it. My X page. Find me on X.
Find him on X.
You'll see it on there.
X.com/Mark Viviano.
It's mark@wjz.com. I don't know how to change it.
No?
I got to change it. I'm retired. I got to change
As
it.
long as you can still use it.
They're still letting me.
Thank
I'm
you.
not. I'm being careful. Yes. Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Thank
Nice
you,
meeting
guys.
Have a good one.
It's time for the Arguing Goldfish Podcast.